Nobody on here, so I'm just talking to myself right now. But since I'm talking to myself, and I know a lot of people that follow me on my channel also follow Trucker Todd on his channel, and he is live right now. Not trying to compete with him head to head by any means or anything. And me and Trucker Todd, we get along great. I'm doing a live mainly because I don't know how to do one. Well, I know how to do them, but I'm not really experienced with them, so I'm trying to get in more practice. And I decided to go ahead and talk today about BRICS and freight being slow and rates going down and how long this is going to last and other things. So while we're talking about, I'm going to wait for a few more years to get in before I start taking, well, I guess I can take questions. I don't know a lot about this live thing yet, so we're going to work with this. But we want to discuss things about why freights are shortage, why there's a freight shortage, why rates have dropped, why there seems to be too many trucks out here and not enough freight on some days, and then they try to tell us there's too much freight and not enough trucks. It's a very up and down thing right now. This isn't just with Dart. This is with Swift, Dart, Werner, Prime. If you talk to any drivers from any company right now, across the board, freight is down, freight is slow. A lot of people say, well, it's this way at the beginning of every year, for the first 3 months or so of every year. And to a degree, that is true. We always see a slight dip and everything, but it usually starts bouncing back up. If we notice, we are in April. This is the 4th month, and we are nowhere near moving up on the freight availability right now. And there are several reasons. It's going to get worse, people. It's going to get a lot worse. So, things that I want to talk about. I don't know how to see who all's joining my channel and everything. I'm going to have to work on that. So, since I got someone watching, let me see how this works. I really don't know. But I'm working on trying to figure all that stuff out. So if you got any comments, questions, or anything, I guess you just post them on here and I can figure out how to do that. But whether anyone tunes in or not, still gives me an opportunity to talk about the things that are going on in the freight market. So right now we are having low freight, very low rates, shortage on freight, and a lot of people are wondering when it's going to bounce back. Let me tell you, it is probably going to be a while. I don't see freight jumping back anytime soon for quite a while. There's a lot of things going on politically and globally around the world that is causing this problem. It's not like back in COVID, which was funny because in COVID, you would have thought freight would have dropped. Instead, it exploded. Of course, we had Amazon doing home delivery, a lot of other, these home delivery companies, everything went into full mode. Walmart pushed their home delivery and a lot of their online ordering. So freight exploded. COVID is pretty much over with. I guess most of us would say it will never be gone away again. It's like the flu. It's going to haunt us for the rest of our lives. But it's not a big deal right now. So that being said, let me see if I can figure out, since no one's really on here watching, I'm going to try to figure out how to do some of these things. Okay, well, hide all that. Okay, that works. Let me see. Go over here. All right, I guess we're going okay. Anyway, just get on here and do a few more. See if anyone comes in. If anyone pops in, say hi or something. I'm trying to figure out how to use this live thing more, but I'm going to continue talking about things that are affecting our freight. People, if you're not watching the news right now, you might want to start paying attention. I know people hate talking about politics, and I get it. However, politics, the things that are happening globally in politics is affecting our industry, specifically in America. This new group called BRICS, which everyone says is a new thing out here. BRICS, in case you haven't been watching the news, is a economic coalition between Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now they've joined in a whole lot more countries have joined in with them. Saudi Arabia and Iran are in peace talks in China right now. That's pretty much a done deal because China's made them promises and they're going for it. So they'll be signing a peace accord and they'll start trading with those two major oil producing countries. They are also in talks with Egypt. Well, actually, Egypt's already joined them. France is talking about joining BRICS. Spain is talking about joining BRICS. Italy is talking about joining BRICS. A lot of countries around the world are tired of all the fighting and have decided to start concentrating on trade, build their economy, and take care of their home country. How does this affect trucking? While America is sinking billions of dollars into places like Ukraine, this war that is none of our business. Don't get me wrong, I feel bad for them and everything, but really, it's not our war. It's not our citizens. It's nothing. So a lot of people, well, you have no heart for the poor Ukrainians. It's not that I don't have heart. We don't have the money to fight their war, but this is what America's doing. America's pushing money over there, billions, tens of billions so far, and talking about sending more money over there. While we're doing this, Russia, China, and all these other countries of BRICS is out here making trade deals. There's an article in Reuters today talking about how China is sending out delegates all over the world into Europe, Asia Minor, Asia Major, sending people into the Middle East, Africa. China's sending delegates out all over the world. It's like 48 in the last couple of months, making investment deals. And the way Reuters words it is saying that China is doing this in order to get, they're in trouble financially, and they're $9 trillion in debt and are trying to come out of it. That's not what China's doing. China's out here making trade deals with all these countries and giving them loans for infrastructure, manufacturing, highways, seaports, communication technology, shipping technology, transportation technology. China is offering all of this to all these other little countries out here and everything, offering billions of dollars in loans. What we would consider billions of dollars. They're doing it in the yuan because they're trying to get these countries off the dollar. And these countries are seeing a benefit. And they're joining in. Even a lot of our allies in NATO, or some of our allies in NATO, are joining in the BRICS thing and trying to get off the U.S. dollar. Meanwhile, what is our administration doing? They're sending money to Ukraine. Billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight a war that, to be honest with you, Russia could end in a couple of days. Russia's keeping us bogged down in Ukraine and our money going over there, while their ally is in China is going and spreading out a trade route, spending billions of dollars in trade and production. So that's throwing Russia and China in the lead for trade, while Russia's sitting in a few troops here and a few troops there into Ukraine, and they do a big bombing and everything. America runs and throws money into Ukraine instead of building up our trade with our fellow countries, or our countries in our hemisphere, or anywhere else in the world as far as that goes. China and Russia are playing the long game, and America's getting shortchanged. How does this affect our freight? China is not shipping stuff over to America like they did before. They shut the ports down every few months, blaming it on COVID and everything. But if it's really shut down because of COVID, how are they making all these other trade deals around the world? How are they making trade deals in Africa, Europe, Asia Minor? How are they doing all that and shipping them goods, but not shipping America goods? Well, we closed our seaports because of COVID. No, they're closing their trade to America and using freight rate shortages. Thank you for joining us. But they are actually sending in our they're limiting their trade with America. It's sort of like when Joe Biden went over to Saudi Arabia and asked him for oil, and Saudi Arabia told America to go kick rocks. We don't need you anymore. We worked up another deal with China and Russia and India and all these other countries. We're going to sell them oil at a higher rate. And if America doesn't like it, go kick rocks. Flat what they told us. And America goes, we're going to pull our military aid from you. And Saudi Arabia looked at us and went, you know what? We just made a deal with Russia and China. We don't need your aid. The one you're supposed to be protecting us from just gave us a great deal on our oil prices. So we're going to keep dealing with them. America's out of the loop over there. Can't do anything. Have no influence. So then we go to our trade partners in Europe. We need more trade and more. We need you to put more money in with us into Ukraine and everything else. And Europe looked at us and went, you know what? Instead of us fighting that war, we're going to go make trade agreements with China. And that's what they're doing. France just did it. The Prime Minister of France, the President of Spain's doing it. Italy's doing it. All these other countries, Belgium's even talking with them and everything. All these other countries are putting money or putting their bet on China and Russia. So they're not sending money to Ukraine. I mean, you see it on the news a little bit here, a little bit there, but they don't really care. They're looking at it going, You know what? We don't have to worry about being attacked by Russia because we're trading with Russia. We're sending them products, technology, and goods. They're sending us product, technology, and goods, and no one's threatening us with embargoes and high taxes and all this stuff. China and Russia, the BRICS is whipping America's collective arse. That's what they're doing. We're concentrating on military, they're concentrating on economic, and they're making us look sad. I'm here, brother, and yes, freight is awful. Yes, it is. Freight is way down, and it's going to continue going down. You'll listen to some of these analysts out here talking about, our freight rates are going to go back up. Freight's going to start moving here pretty soon. And no, it's not. We don't produce anything in America. As long as China keeps us locked out and it's not allowing shipping over here, how are we going to ship anything? There's nothing to ship. No lies detected, right? America has got to get on the ball economically. Instead of sending money and military aid and everything to Ukraine, which we all know, anyone who thinks that Ukraine has a real chance of beating Russia has lost their freaking minds. That would be like telling us if we invaded Cuba, that Cuba could fight us off. If Putin really wanted Ukraine, he would send in about 5 divisions in there, march over the entire country, slaughter people left and right, and would be that'd be a part of Russia by tomorrow morning. Anyone doubt that, you're out of touch with reality. Everyone goes, oh, but they're putting up a good fight. I mean, you see all the Democrats. Oh, look, not just Democrats, a lot of Republicans, a lot of Americans do go, oh, but Ukraine sure stuck it to them today. And no, they didn't. Russia is bogging us down. While we're sending military aid and military funding and everything, Russia's sending a few troops at a time and keep us spending our money in Ukraine while they're making trade deals. Them and China and India are making trade deals with the rest of the world, and we're getting shut out. Simple as that. It's a lot of funny that America says we should be isolationists. We should be. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You do not have to convince the American government to be isolationists. The rest of the world is isolating us. They're tired of the way that we have been pushing things and threatening, and our corporations and everything have been pushing our agendas, and now they're dealing with other people. They're going around us. And we go, well, they still owe us money. No. We owe the rest of the world money. We are in debt to China up to our eyeballs. Instead of sending Trump to prison, they need to drill more oil, send back to the oil. Right. I agree. I'd love to go back to the oil fields. Trump was right on 2 points. I know he has a big mouth. We all know that. But Trump was right. We should have been bringing manufacturing jobs back to America. We didn't. Still not doing it. We should have been tapping for our own oil. We didn't. We should still be doing it. We're not. The rest of the country, the rest of the world, I'd say the rest of the world has moved on past America. They went around us. Simple as that. They are dealing with each other. Like we have embargoes against Russia about plane parts and technology and all this stuff and everything. And Russia said, oh, you know what? Y'all really don't produce anything anyway. Why are we worried about your embargo? Hey, China, we'll make a deal with you. And China went, you know what? We're tired of America. And Trump did this, raising our import taxes and export taxes. And everything. There was a very small window where that would have worked. It won't work anymore. Russia and China just, you know what? Forget your embargoes. Forget your threats. Forget all this. We're just going to start trading with each other. And whatever America says, just, oh, keep talking, keep sanctioning. We don't care. And they went out and made all these deals around the world. And here we are. Our economy's crashing. It's nothing. It's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. I was talking to a guy at DART today, and he was talking about, oh, we're getting more customers and we're getting more freight's picking up. And this. No, it's not. It is not. All we're doing is taking another trucking company's customers. We're taking these few and we're giving up these few, and they're taking these few. We're just playing the shell game over here. If China and the rest of the world is not shipping a bunch of products to America, truck drivers are not working. Simple as that. And people go, well, America's the world's biggest consumer. No, we were the world's biggest. We still are. But China went out here and he started creating factories in Africa, South Africa, Jamaica, places like that. They're talking all these different places around the world, Ethiopia, and they're telling them, look, we will build manufacturing plants there. Your people will have jobs. They will start making money. And when they do, we will trade with you. And we're going to loan you this money to build highways. We're going to loan you this money to build all this infrastructure. And it's already happening. And these countries are starting to make money. And they're looking at America going, you know what? We're not going to trade with you because you didn't help us. You did nothing but threaten us. We're going to start trading with China, even our own allies. So that's the reason we're having freight shortages. It's going to continue until America wakes up and realizes this is not a military war anymore. This is an economic war. And the rest of the world is killing us in it. Right now, BRICS, the BRICS thing, and you can go look this up on the internet, do your Google research and everything, see what BRICS, BRICS, see what it is. Right now, they control 25% of the world's GDP. They're just getting started. Predicted by 2025, they will control 50% of the world's GDP. 50%. Where does that leave America? Out in the cold. We're not producing our own oil. We have no manufacturing. Our technology is being stolen by China and used and sold around the world. And America is still fighting a Cold War mentality. And Trump had it right, sort of. He was wrong also, trying to build up a military complex. And the rest of the world's like, China's like, go right ahead. Invest all that money in the military. Go ahead, invest in Ukraine. Go ahead and back our losing country. We're going to go out here and start building manufacturing and highways and shipping yards and technology and communication systems with the rest of the world. And we're going to trade with them. So you go ahead and spend your money on missiles and F-14s and threaten not to give Saudi Arabia any planes because of human rights issues. And you threaten us and you threaten these countries. You threaten the whole world about your little planes and missiles and stuff. And we'll go out here and start buying and selling with the rest of the world. Guys, if we don't understand, as truck drivers, this is going to have a definite impact on us. We're already seeing it. You're seeing the beginning. Here's the thing. If you're looking at the news and MSNBC and Clinton News Network and MSLSD and all these, the Washington Compost and all them are just now talking about BRICS, they are years behind. If you go back and look at some of my videos from about 5 years ago, I was warning about BRICS back then. People that study politics and get into it and everything, yes, that's BRICS. Thanks, Craig, for that. A lot of people don't even know what it is. It's not it's getting real. Actually, it's just getting noticed. It's been real for years. They've been doing this for years. Thanks, Craig, for your input on that. We're just now seeing it in the mainstream media because now they're just now starting to admit what a lot of us, okay, guys, I have a degree in political science. That was what I went to college for. So I love studying that stuff. But what we noticed 5 years ago and 6 years ago, and we're talking about and trying to warn people about, excuse me, we got called conspiracy theorists for. The first time I talked about BRICS, literally people said, oh, there goes Doc Green off the deep end, wearing the tinfoil hat and everything. He's a conspiracy theorist. I let it rest. Quit talking about it. Now they're talking about it. So I'm going back and looking up going, another point for the conspiracy theorist. When I say things, I don't base it on half things I was based on what economics was telling us at the time. I study this stuff on my off time. It's kind of like a hobby of mine. And here's the thing. When Reuters put out an article, all right, thanks, no problem. When Reuters put out an article today talking about how China was sending out delegates to the rest of the world because they were so far in debt that they're begging for money, that's a lie. That is a flat lie. Even MSNBC and all these other news networks are telling us to look out. BRICS is coming. BRICS is coming. BRICS is here. They're not coming. They are here. So we tried, but when Reuters and all them are doing this and they're trying to calm American fears, this is something you need to be afraid of. This is not some conspiracy theory. This is actually happening. So it's not something, they're too late. The warning flares are too late. But there has to be some reason why these financial newspapers and everything keep talking about, or starting to talk about it now. And saying, oh, it's no big deal. The American dollar is stable. Everyone out here knows if you go try to go buy a dozen eggs at the store or a gallon of fuel or whatever, you know the American dollar is not stable. You don't need some genius up there in Washington, D.C. to tell you it is or it isn't. You know, you got common sense. A lot of people, I joke a lot and say, oh, wow, I must be the smartest guy in the world because I talked about this years ago. And people go, oh yeah, the real expert in D.C., Doc, you don't know what you're talking about. I know they're experts. I know they have all the information. I know they have all the data, just like you do. Yes, we all know they are the real experts. So why are they lying to us? They're not stupid people. They know more, way more. That's like me compared to them is like a TI, Texas Instruments calculator from 1970 compared to a Mac computer today. That's how much more information they have. So why are they lying to us? Does anyone out here actually believe that our freights are going to go back up in the next 6 months? Freight's going to pick back up in the next 6 months? If you do, please comment. I'd love to see where your data is coming from. But none of us do. We know it's not. Hey guys, any questions? Oh, and I don't want to just talk about the political thing because that gets so tiring and so old. However, it's affecting us truck drivers directly. So that's the reason I'm talking about it. And I will continue talking about it over the next few lives I do. Again, I'm just learning how to do this stuff. I don't know how to hand out wrenches and do all the pretty backgrounds. I don't know how to do all that yet. I'm just getting started on the live production thing. But I would like to say that there's some other issues going on that America is not. Our infrastructure sucks, and we're not putting any money into it. We're sending money over to other countries. America needs to stop doing that and start taking care of our country. We need to start making trade deals with our own hemisphere. We have Russia and China working in South America, making deals with South American countries, while America's up here trying to figure out what a woman is. You know, we can't figure out if a man is a man or a woman's a woman, what you call them, what their new sex is, 30,000 different genders. That's America's big problem. Seriously? It's like they continually keep us distracted all the time. Speaking of distractions, have we all noticed that there's a lot of train derailments lately? A lot of people posting on Facebook and everything about, wow, we sure are having a lot of train derailments. People, this is something else I studied a long time ago, back when I was in intermodal. We don't have any more train derailments now than we had last year, the year before. Actually, they're down this year. You're just hearing about them more. The news is putting them out there more. The question is, why? Why is it all of a sudden the news is talking about train derailments and the whole America's freaking out? The reason you're freaking out is because you're just hearing about them. But if you go back and you look at the Department of Transportation and the railroad commissions and everything, their amount of accidents that happen, we're actually way down this year than we have been over the last 10 years. Train derailments happen all of the time. They're just not reported on. So guys are freaking out over that. No, our system isn't, well, it's failing us, but it's been failing us for decades. It's not any worse now than it has been. That's just a distraction off of you people. That's it. Trying to distract us and get our mind on this instead of watching this. It's sort of like Joe Biden's new green initiative that he spoke about last night. We're putting more money into climate change than the entire world. The entire world. That's exactly how he said it. Yeah, because the rest of the entire world is putting money into infrastructure and manufacturing and technology and oil and communications and medical and pharmaceuticals. That's what the rest of the world's doing while we're studying on how to save the speckled bass mating habits. But we're sinking all of our money, and he's proud of that. He is proud of that. Guys, we need to wake up and realize what's happening out here. BRICS is nothing new. Train derailments are nothing new. The America investing in the wrong direction again is nothing new. And until we figure that out and we make our politicians and stuff and start sending delegates down and start expanding our trade routes and everything, this kind of thing is going to continue to happen. Anyway, guys, that's about all I got. Thank you for joining me on this live. It's my second one that is of really any substance and everything, and I'm going to try to do better. Guys, give a thumbs up, hit share, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, And I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Hope to hear more comments in the future as we get more topics. If you have any topics you want to hear about, please leave a comment. Or you want to discuss, you want to come on here and discuss with me, please let me know, and we'll move on that direction. Meanwhile, I'm going to head over to Chuck or Todd's channel and check him out. Talk to y'all later.